Bob Siegelman, we've had a rough winter, to say the least. How has that affected you and your horses as a trainer?
It's been probably the hardest winter that I can remember, 25, 30 years of training horses, to keep them on a schedule. It's very important, especially with the 3-year-olds, the mares, to try to keep them on a routine. It's been a very hard season to keep the horses on a routine. We're stabled here at the Meadowlands, and it's a fantastic job they do on the racetrack. You can get out every day, but you can't get them trained when there's a snowstorm or an ice storm. So it's been the hardest winter I can recall to keep them on a routine. The babies, yeah, they're behind, but I don't feel that's a big issue when it comes to the babies, because the best athlete will still be the best athlete when it's all said and done, if just a little patient with them.
Does this push you back at all in starting a horse in maybe 2-3 weeks because of the weather?
For sure, yeah. I had a couple of 3-year-olds I was pointing to late February, and just not liking the track and the weather on certain days. Some of them are about 30 days behind now.
Well, being in Goshen, we get out every day, and I'm kind of used to I'm from Buffalo, so this is kind of normal. I just back off a little bit on the training, but as long as you can jog them every day, you're in good shape.
Is there any way you can train horses indoors to make up for that?
I don't know about that, but I don't like my 2-year-olds. I just turn them all out for 2 months, so it makes life a lot easier for me in the winter.
And the snow, once the snow clears, do you get a chance to play catch-up? Can you play catch-up with a colt?
I think so. Most horses, well, I never made a great horse. You got to get the right halter at the sale, and that helps. I don't think training ever really made a good one, but basically, if you can get them out, train them 6-7 times, they're usually ready to go.
It's up there. I mean, it's worse for the people than it is for the horses. The horses don't seem to mind the bad weather as much as the people do.
Can we get the track cleared out there? Has it been operable?
Yes, I mean, they've done a great job here. I mean, they got a great staff, and they've been able to get it cleared. I think we missed one day.
So do you have a little advantage to stabling out the track as opposed to guys who might be snowed in at a farm?
Well, for sure, because we just have more equipment here to handle the facility here.
Not really much. Mainly the horses. Some of the horses have trouble getting over the track, and like last night, it was kind of rough and breaking out underneath them. But overall, we've raced a lot of years through the winter, so it's not been too bad.
It's been a lot tougher than the last few years. The only thing that saved us over here is that the track has been super. It's been unbelievable how the track has been, considering the weather we had, the rain, the snow. We lost one day the whole winter, so it's really, really, a good thing as far as trackmen has been. As far as the horses, the track is good. I think I suffer more than the horse does. I don't think that it's that bad on the horse. We try to go a little slower because especially bleeders, stuff like that, we just try to cut down on training a little bit. But as far as horses training in the cold, I don't think it makes that much difference. I suffer more than the horse does.
What's worse? What's tougher on a horse? The extreme cold or the sleet, snow, and ice?
Oh, I think sleet and ice is much worse because they don't get no traction with the shoes. No matter how much you try to put barium or aluminum shoes, once you start to freeze, it's very bad on horses. The cold, they adapt to it. It's not that bad. I mean, it's nature, and a lot of times the hair just grow longer, and that's it. They just take care of themselves. We don't get any horse that gets sicker because it's the winter or the summer. It's about the same thing.
We get them out every day. The only day we didn't get out was the day we had 24 inches. The track was closed. The guys here have done an unbelievable job getting this track open, so at least we can jog over it. It's not perfect every day, but I'm sure for what other people have to deal with, our fellows have done a better job than anyone.
I see some of the tracks actually have canceled racing because of the thawing out process. Do you ever have any problems with that here?
Yesterday a little bit. The day before we had that ice, and they broke the ice open, and we had a mixture of material and ice. And then when it warmed up yesterday, that got a little wet. It bottomed out some, and they pushed it off, and it was great to race on last night, and it's good this morning.
I've been very fortunate. Being stabled here at the Meadowlands is a great advantage. We've got the best crew in the world, and they remove snow better than anybody I've ever seen. The city should try to bring these guys over in the next snowstorm. We haven't missed too many days, and you know what? Sometimes I have a lot of young horses. You missing days is a godsend.
Is there any difference after they work on the track between the inside and the outside of the track?
Yeah, it's tough when you get the little bit of the defrost going is when you see the difference on the inside and the outside of the track. The inside, it seems to defrost after the outside, and then you have a little icy condition. But these guys have just been tremendous this year.
It's not easy. As a rule, I like to give them a day off here and there when the weather gets bad, but it gets to the point where, the first storm is fun, the second storm gets to be a nuisance. When it gets to be the 8th or the ninth storm, enough already. We need it to get better.
Did the younger horses get affected by the bad weather more than the older ones?
The real young horses don't, as long as you can get them out and get them moved. The 2-year-olds coming 3, I think this is the time we're putting the bottom under them, so they really do need to get out. They love routine. That's the problem. It's okay if you can get them in the field, but when you can't get them out of their stall, they don't like it.
Is there actually a disadvantage racing from the farm this time of year with the shipping back and forth, etc., as opposed to guys stabled here?
I don't think the shipping is a problem. The problem is that they have such a huge advantage over the racetrack here. The racetrack is always good here, so that makes this probably the best place to be in the winter.
Not so much because no, it is cold, but they send us on the track with less time, so it's not that big a deal. But it does make a difference because some horses, that they're little farms, they don't get out as much. So you definitely got to take that in consideration. But as far as driving wise, I know it's not that bad.
It's difficult. I have to say, Gateway Farm, where I'm at, have done a great job with the track this year. But the cold and the snow makes everything harder. Things freeze, hoses break, equipment, the snaps don't work properly. But you just kind of adjust your schedule and push on.
Do horses all react differently to the cold?
Yeah, but I think most horses prefer the cold than the heat, that's for sure. I think that when it gets real hot, it kind of gets to them more than the cold.
Do some of these down under horses here have an advantage here since maybe they've raced in this weather before?
I don't think so, no, not really.
Okay, and how are the young horses, like the babies, dealing with it?
Well, the cold they deal with, the track's a little bit harder, and that, I think, affects the babies more than anything. When the track freezes up and there's not a lot of cushion on it, I think that's tougher on the young horses.
Absolutely. Hey, this has been the toughest winter I think we've had since 2003. The snow has caused a lot of cancellations for us getting on the racetrack. That can cause a lot of tie-ups in horses that can't get out every day. The racetrack's been kind of hard. Horses with bad feet have a problem in this kind of weather, and to keep a horse from getting sick and flus and viruses just like human beings, it's a pretty tough time for us just to get the horses here to race them at night. So if you can get one here just to race, you're kind of successful all in all,
What about horses who slip and slide a little bit out there? What do we do for that?
Well, a lot of horses here at the Meadowlands, we wear a lot of aluminum shoes, and they have a pretty good grab on them. And if the trainers want to start using a little bit of borium to try and help them for the slipping and sliding, it really shouldn't be a problem. The track's been in pretty good shape, just that it gets a little frozen because of the icy temperatures.